Okay, what do you call a bunch of? Okay, this is taking the factoring we were doing yesterday and going just a step further. So if we're looking at number 4, okay, I have 4n to the third plus 8n squared minus 60n. So before we factor it, and we will use the box and diamond, the first thing you want to look at before you go straight to factoring is, do the 3 factors in the trinomial have anything in common?
Yes.
Yeah, they sure do. What do they have in common?
N.
They have an n in common. Do they have anything else in common? Look at the number.
2 squared. 4.
Oh, they have a 4 in common. Pull out the 4n. So, 4n times what is 4n to the third? N to the second. 4n times what is 8n squared?
2n.
2n. 4n times what is 60n? 15. Excellent. All right. 4n is your first factor. Okay, so that is going to be a factor. Then n squared plus 2n minus 15, you're going to go through and factor the way we looked at yesterday. So this is 1n squared, this is negative 15, this is 2, negative 15 times 1 is negative 15. So what multiplies to be negative 15 and adds to be 2? What multiplies to be negative 15 and adds to be 2?
5 times negative 3.
5 times negative 3. Perfect. So we get 5n and negative 3n. What do n squared and 5n have in common? N. What do negative 3n and negative 15 have in common?
Negative 3.
Negative 3. What do n squared and negative 3n have in common?
N.
N. And what do 5n and negative 15 have in common?
5.
Positive 5. So your factors are, remember, 4n is our first factor. Then we have n plus 5 and n minus 3. So the first thing you have to do, and I'll be honest, this was the hardest thing about factoring for me, was stopping and looking at the problem before I started factoring to see if there was a greatest common factor I had to pull out first. Because I want to go straight to the factoring, because remember I used to use FOIL, and so I wanted to start looking for those factors and start guessing and checking right away. When you guess and check, you'll find that it won't work unless you pull the 4n out. You got to pull out that common factor. Shall we do another? Let's do one like, let's do one that I didn't do, like 17. Okay? What about one like 17? 98h to the 5th minus 2h. What do they have in common? They have an h in common. What else do they have in common? A 2. 2h times what is 98h to the 5th?
4.
Okay, what's half of 100?
50.
50.
What's 1 less?
49.
49. Oh, wait, what? 49, yeah.
Isn't that what 98 divided by 2 is?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you take 1h out of h to the 5th, what do you have left?
4.
To the 4th minus 2h times what is 2h?
1.
What?
This is called a, excuse me, gentlemen. This is called a special polynomial. Why do you think it's special? Is 49 a perfect square? It's a double, right? So 7 times 7? So it's a perfect square. That's what they call a perfect square. Is h to the 4th a perfect square? Yeah, it's a double. H squared times h squared is h to the 4th. Is 1 a perfect square? 1 times 1? 1. It's a perfect square. What we have here is a perfect square and a perfect square separated by subtraction. And whenever you have that, you have a very special situation. So one of our factors is like this. We can still do the box and the diamond. So we have 49 h to the 4th. We have, and this is the c term because it doesn't have a variable after it, right? Negative 1. What's the b term? Is there an h to the 2nd term? If you said no, what's the number that goes with that? There's no b term. So what's the value of no b term?
0.
0. So what's 49 times negative 1?
Negative 49.
Negative 49. What multiplies to be negative 49 and adds to be 0?
49.
What multiplies to be negative 49
0 and
and
negative
adds
49.
to be 0?
0 and negative 49.
That would multiply to be 0.
7 times 7.
I just said add.
7 times
7.
Negative
7.
7 times negative 7. Perfect. This is going to be 7h to the 2nd, because h to the 2nd times h to the 2nd is h to the 4th. Negative 7h to the 2nd. What do 49h to the 4th and 7h to the 2nd have in common?
Oh no,
7h to the 2nd. Negative 7h to the 2nd and negative 1? Negative 1. 49h to the 4th and negative 7h to the 2nd? 7h to the 2nd. 7h to the 2nd and negative 1? Positive 1. So your factors are going to be the 2h we started with. 7h to the 2nd plus 1. 7h to the 2nd minus 1. And if I told you that when I saw that 49h to the 4th minus 1 and knew that 49 was perfect square and h to the 4th was a perfect square and 1 was a perfect square, I knew just by looking at it the square root of 49 was 7, the square root of h to the 4th was h to the 2nd, and the square roots of 1 were 1. I knew it would wind up as 7h squared plus 1 and 7h squared minus 1. Because that's just the way it always turns out. If you have a perfect square minus a perfect square, it always turns out as a plus and a minus of the square roots of each. It's a special factor.